The massive alien ships appeared without warning. They filled Earth's skies like dark clouds, casting shadows over every major city. Humanity watched in silence as the Galactic Council's fleet positioned itself in a perfect grid pattern around the planet. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the United Earth Defense Force headquarters, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display. Red dots covered the screen, each one representing an alien vessel. Her hands gripped the command console until her knuckles turned white. "They're broadcasting a message on all frequencies," Lieutenant Park reported, his voice shaking slightly. The message played through the command center speakers in perfect English. High Counselor Zaxthor's voice was cold and emotionless. "People of Earth, the Galactic Council has determined your species to be too violent and unpredictable for inclusion in galactic society. You will be quarantined within your solar system until you prove yourselves worthy. Any attempt to leave will result in immediate destruction." Sarah's jaw clenched. She thought of her family, her husband, and 2 children who had died just last week when the Council's first warning shot destroyed their civilian transport ship. They had claimed it was an accident. She knew better. In his laboratory deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. James O'Connor watched the same broadcast. The old scientist adjusted his glasses and continued working on the strange alien device he had recovered from the Council's previous visit. His hands moved quickly, connecting wires and studying readings. "Keep underestimating us," he mumbled to himself. "That will be your biggest mistake." The quarantine barrier activated within hours. It looked like a shimmering wall of blue energy that stretched from the sun past Pluto. Earth was effectively cut off from the rest of the galaxy. In the following days, the Council established monitoring stations on Mars and Venus. Their ships patrolled the solar system in regular patterns. They thought they had contained humanity. They were wrong. At an emergency meeting of Earth's remaining leaders, Commander Chen presented her initial findings. The Council's ships use a standardized communication network, she explained, pointing to detailed scans. Dr. O'Connor has already identified several weaknesses in their systems. "But what can we do?" asked the Chinese premier. "Their technology is far beyond ours." Sarah's smile was sharp as a knife. "That's what they think. For the past 50 years, we've been recovering and studying alien technology. We're not as primitive as they believe." In his lab, Dr. O'Connor made the breakthrough they needed. The alien device he was studying suddenly activated, displaying detailed schematics of Council technology. "Fascinating," he whispered, quickly downloading the data. Their arrogance made them careless. The Council's ships continued their patrols, unaware that humans were already finding ways through their quarantine. Small stealth probes slipped through gaps in the barrier, gathering intelligence. Earth's hidden facilities worked at full capacity, preparing for what was to come. Ambassador Corell, the only Council member who had opposed the quarantine, watched the situation with growing concern. The tall, gray-skinned alien had spent more time studying humans than any other Council member. He knew they wouldn't accept imprisonment quietly. "We should open diplomatic channels," Corell argued during a Council meeting. "Humans are more capable than you realize." High Counselor Zaxthor dismissed his concerns with a wave of his 4-fingered hand. "They are primitive and violent. The quarantine is for their own good." Back on Earth, Commander Chen received Dr. O'Connor's findings. She immediately called a secure meeting with Earth's military leaders. "The Council's barrier has a fundamental flaw," she explained. "We can exploit it, but we'll need time to prepare." As the first month of quarantine ended, the Council believed their plan was working perfectly. They didn't notice the small changes in their communication networks. They ignored the occasional glitch in their sensors. They dismissed reports of strange energy readings from Earth as equipment malfunctions. In her office, Commander Chen looked at a photo of her lost family, then turned to the window. The alien ships still hung in the sky like threatening stars. "You thought you could cage us," she said quietly. "You thought we would break. Instead, you've given us a reason to show you humanity's true strength." She picked up her secure phone, and dialed Dr. O'Connor's lab. When he answered, she spoke just 5 words. Begin Phase 1. No mercy. The quarantine of Earth was complete, but it wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. 3 months into the quarantine, Earth looked defeated from the outside. But deep under the Pacific Ocean, humanity's true power was growing. Commander Sarah Chen walked through the massive underground facility called Deep Hope. Rows of advanced weapons lined the walls. These weren't the primitive rockets the Council thought humans used. These were weapons designed specifically to target alien weaknesses. "Show me the test results," she ordered as she entered the main lab. Dr. O'Connor played a video on the large screen. It showed a small human device completely shutting down a captured Council ship. The old scientist smiled proudly. "Their shields can't stop what they don't understand." "And they don't understand us at all," Sarah replied, watching the video again. Above them, Council ships continued their patrols, never suspecting that the ocean beneath them hid one of Earth's 20 secret super bases. Each base had a different purpose. Deep Hope created weapons. Others built ships, trained soldiers, or developed new technologies. In orbit, a Council patrol ship detected something unusual. "Minor energy spike from the ocean," reported a junior officer to his commander. The alien commander flicked his antenna dismissively. Probably just their primitive underwater vessels. Nothing to worry about. They didn't realize they had just seen the testing of humanity's newest weapon, a device that could turn their own energy shields against them. At the Galactic Council headquarters, Ambassador Krell studied the latest reports from Earth with growing worry. Something wasn't right. The humans were too quiet, too accepting of their situation. It wasn't like them at all. He tried warning the Council again. "We should increase our scans of Earth. The humans are planning something." High Counselor Zax Thor laughed, his scales shimmering. "What can they possibly do? Their technology is centuries behind ours." But that same day, humanity proved him wrong. A small human ship suddenly appeared outside the quarantine barrier. Before the Council ships could react, it disappeared again, leaving behind a destroyed monitoring station. The Council called an emergency meeting. How did they breach the barrier? Zax Thor demanded. No one had an answer. They didn't know that Dr. O'Connor had discovered how to hide in the gaps between space, something the Council had never thought possible. Back in Deep Hope, Commander Chen received the mission report. "First test successful," she announced to her staff. "The Council's sensors never detected our real technology level." "What about the resistance cells on other worlds?" her assistant asked. Sarah brought up a galactic map showing dozens of points of light. Each light represented humans who had secretly settled on other worlds before the quarantine. Now they were ready to help Earth's revenge plan. In his lab, Dr. O'Connor worked on his most important project yet. The device looked simple, a small silver cube, but inside it was technology that could shut down any Council system within range. "Soon," he whispered, making final adjustments. "Soon they'll learn why you should never cage humanity." The Council dismissed the destroyed monitoring station as an accident. They increased patrols but couldn't find any sign of the mysterious human ship. Their arrogance made them blind to the truth. Ambassador Krell knew better. He secretly sent a message to Commander Chen. "The Council still underestimates you. Use this to your advantage." Sarah read his message and smiled. Everything was going according to plan. Earth's hidden strength was almost ready to be revealed. In secret bases around the world, thousands of new ships were almost complete. Unlike the crude rockets the Council saw, these ships were built with recovered and improved alien technology. "All bases report ready," Sarah's assistant announced one morning. "We can begin major operations anytime." Commander Chen stood at the window of her underwater office, watching fish swim past. She thought of her family again, and all the other families the Council had hurt. "Send the order," she said quietly. "All ships deploy. Show them what humanity can really do." The Council thought they had caged a primitive species. They didn't realize they had given humanity exactly what it needed. time to prepare, and a reason to fight. The real war was about to begin. The council world of Tarlax was peaceful that morning. Its 3 suns were rising, and the alien city's crystal towers sparkled in the light. No one noticed the small objects entering the atmosphere. By the time they realized what was happening, it was too late. At exactly 600 Earth time, Commander Sarah Chen gave the order. Begin Operation First Strike. The hidden human devices activated all at once. Every council computer system on Xarlax shut down instantly. Their advanced ships fell from the sky, powerless. Their weapons went silent. Their communications died. In his private chamber, High Counselor Zax Thor received emergency messages from across council space. Impossible, he shouted, his scales turning pale with fear. How are they doing this? The answer came in a broadcast that played on every working screen in council territory. Dr. O'Connor's face appeared, looking calm and professional. Greetings, council members. Consider this a demonstration of humanity's true capabilities. On Earth, Sarah watched the operation unfold on multiple screens. 50 years of preparation were finally paying off. Her hidden fleets were striking 10 council worlds at once, not to destroy, but to show their power. Status report, she commanded. All targets hit successfully, her officer reported. Council forces completely disabled. No casualties as ordered. Sarah nodded. This wasn't about killing. This was about sending a message. Never underestimate humanity. Ambassador Corell rushed into an emergency council meeting. The chamber was in chaos. Council members were shouting and arguing. Some demanded immediate military action. Others wanted to surrender. We should have listened, Corell said quietly, but no one heard him over the noise. Dr. O'Connor's broadcast continued. For 50 years, you thought we were showing you all our technology. You were wrong. While you watched our primitive rockets, we were studying your tech and making it better. On the council world of Vega Prime, human resistance fighters emerged from hiding. They had lived there secretly for years, preparing for this day. Now they took control of the planet's defense systems with ease. The Council's mighty space fleet tried to respond, but they couldn't fight what they couldn't understand. Human ships appeared and disappeared at will, using space itself as a weapon. Dr. O'Connor's devices turned their own technology against them. Send in the battle fleets, Zax Thor ordered, but when his ships arrived at Earth, they found nothing. The quarantine barrier was gone. Earth looked empty. Looking for us. Commander Chen's voice came through their comms. Behind the Council fleet, Earth's real ships appeared. They were sleek, black, and more advanced than anything the Council had ever seen. In his lab, Dr. O'Connor allowed himself a small smile as he watched the Council fleet panic. His simple silver cube had grown into a network that could control any Council technology. 50 years of them thinking we were primitive, he said to his assistant. 50 years of us learning all their weaknesses. The Council tried to contact their worlds, but the humans control their communication networks now. Instead of their distress calls, they heard Commander Chen's voice. You caged us. You killed our people. You thought we were weak. Today, you learn how wrong you were. Each hour, we will take control of another Council world. We will not harm your people. We are not monsters like you. But we will show you our true strength. Ambassador Corell watched the humans' precise, calculated revenge with a mixture of fear and admiration. They weren't just attacking. They were systematically dismantling the Council's power. Sarah stood on the bridge of her flagship, watching the Council fleet drift powerless in space. She touched the photo of her family that she always carried. This is just the beginning, she whispered. The first day of humanity's revenge was ending. They had disabled 10 Council worlds, captured their main fleet, and revealed their true power. And they had done it all without taking a single life. The Council was learning an important lesson. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their weapons or technology. It was their patience, their cleverness, and their determination to never be underestimated again. The real war had begun. Commander Sarah Chen's plan was like a spider's web, and the Council was finally realizing they were trapped in it. As she stood in Earth's new command center on Mars, she activated her global communication network. "Begin Phase 4, she ordered. Within seconds, hidden human agents on every Council world sprang into action. On the Council's homeworld, Centauri Prime, their main defense computer suddenly displayed a countdown. High Counselor Zaxthor stared at it in horror. "What is this?" he demanded. The answer came from screens all around him. Thousands of human faces appeared. Council citizens he had thought were aliens. They had been living among them for decades, waiting for this moment. "Did you really think we wouldn't infiltrate your worlds?" Dr. O'Connor's voice came through every speaker. The old scientist was broadcasting from his new lab on Jupiter's moon. "While you watched Earth, we were everywhere." In the Council's military headquarters, generals discovered that half their own officers were actually humans in disguise. Advanced holographic technology, developed in secret, had hidden their true identities for years. Ambassador Corell walked through the chaos of the Council chambers, watching their carefully built power structure collapse. He had known humans were clever, but even he hadn't guessed how deep their plan went. "Report status," Sarah commanded from Mars. "Phase 4 proceeding as planned," her assistant replied. "Our agents have control of 75% of Council communication networks, 60% of their military bases, 90% of their transport systems, all major defense installations." Dr. O'Connor's network of silver cubes had grown. Now one sat in every major Council facility, hidden in plain sight. With a single command, he could shut down their entire civilization. "They're trying to send ships from their secret bases," an officer reported to Sarah. She smiled. "Show me." On the main screen, Council ships rose from hidden locations across their territory. Then, one by one, they lost power. Human agents had been maintaining those bases for years, waiting for this moment. In his private chamber, Zaxthor discovered something terrifying. His personal computer contained files he had never seen before. They showed how humans had been manipulating Council decisions for decades. "We gave them time to prepare," Grell said, suddenly appearing in Zaxthor's room. "We gave them a reason to unite. That was our mistake." On Earth, celebrations began as news of the plan's success spread. Humanity had hidden its true strength for so long. Now they could finally show their power. Sarah received a message from one of her deep cover agents. "Council military structure collapsing. Their soldiers are surrendering without fighting. They know they can't win." Dr. O'Connor added another function to his control network. Now it could predict what the Council would do next. "They're running out of options," he reported to Sarah. "Every escape route they try was part of our plan." The Council discovered that humans had even infiltrated their most secret research facilities. Every new weapon they had developed had been secretly modified. They couldn't use anything without human permission. "How long?" Zaxthor asked Corell. "How long have they been planning this?" "Since the first day you threatened Earth," Corell replied. "Every action you took against them made their web stronger." Sarah looked at the galactic map in her command center. Human-controlled areas showed up in green, spreading like a wave across Council space. Years of patient planning were paying off perfectly. "Send the next message," she ordered. Throughout Council space, every screen showed her face. "You thought quarantine would weaken us. Instead, it gave us time to spread through your entire civilization. Every secret you tried to keep, we already knew. Every weapon you built, we can control. You didn't cage us. You walked into our trap." Dr. O'Connor watched the Council's power grid failing sector by sector. "The spider's web is complete," he said quietly. They just didn't see it until it was too late. The Council's mighty empire was falling, not to weapons or armies, but to decades of careful planning and infiltration. Humanity's revenge wasn't just about power. It was about outsmarting those who had underestimated them. The web was complete, and the spider was ready to strike. Alarms rang through the halls of Centauri Prime as another council world fell to human control. The mighty Galactic Council, which had ruled for thousands of years, was breaking apart. High Counselor Zaxthor watched helplessly as his empire crumbled. Someone must be helping them. He shouted at his remaining loyal advisors, "Find the traitors." But he was looking in the wrong direction. The real danger wasn't traitors. It was the complete failure of his leadership. More council worlds were surrendering each day, choosing humanity's protection over his rule. Commander Sarah Chen received the reports in her new office on Mars. "How many worlds have surrendered today?" she asked. 15 more in the last hour," her assistant replied. "They're practically begging to join us now." On the council world of Nexus Prime, the alien population was celebrating in the streets. When humans had disabled their government's power, they had also exposed years of corruption and lies. "We were wrong about humans," a Nexus elder announced to his people. "They could have destroyed us. Instead, they showed us the truth about our leaders." Dr. O'Connor's network was now revealing every secret the council had kept from its own people. Evidence of crimes, hidden wealth, and years of deception appeared on public screens across council space. "Let them see everything," Sarah ordered. "Show them who their leaders really are." In the council chambers, chaos reigned. Different alien races were turning against each other. Age-old alliances broke as each group tried to save themselves. "We should surrender while we can," shouted one council member. "Never," screamed another. "We cannot bow to primitives." Ambassador Corell watched it all with sad eyes. He had tried to prevent this, but no one had listened. Now he had one last chance to help prevent more bloodshed. He sent an urgent message to Commander Chen. "The High Counselor is planning something desperate. Be ready." Sarah immediately called her command staff. "Double security on all captured council weapons. They're getting desperate enough to try using them." She was right. In his private bunker, Zaxthor was ordering his last loyal commanders to activate the Council's doomsday weapons, devices that could destroy entire solar systems. But when they tried, nothing happened. Dr. O'Connor appeared on their screens, looking tired but satisfied. "Did you really think we wouldn't find those two? We've controlled your weapons for years." The news hit the remaining council worlds like a thunderbolt. Their leaders had been willing to kill billions just to keep power. More systems immediately surrendered to human protection. Sarah received a message from Earth's president. "The Council's major allies are requesting peace talks. They want to switch sides." "Tell them it's too late for that," she replied. "They made their choice when they supported the quarantine. Now they face the consequences." On thousands of worlds, people watched as their mighty council collapsed. Some planets broke into civil war. Others threw out their leaders and begged Earth for help. Dr. O'Connor's voice echoed across council space. "Your choice is simple. Surrender to Earth's authority or lose everything. We don't want to rule you. We want to free you from those who did." In the council chambers, the final crisis began. Several council members tried to arrest Zaxthor. Others defended him. In the fighting that followed, the great council chamber, a symbol of power for thousands of years, burned. Sarah watched it all from Mars. "Sometimes empires fall not with a bang, but with the truth," she said quietly. Ambassador Corell, watching the chaos, made his final decision. He walked into Sarah's office on Mars, carrying the Council's secret archives. "Let me help you rebuild something better," he said. The Council that had tried to cage humanity was destroying itself. Its power, built on lies and arrogance, couldn't survive exposure to the truth. Earth's revenge wasn't just about defeating the Council. It was about showing the galaxy a better way. And as their enemies tore themselves apart, humanity stood ready to build something new from the ashes of the old order. The Council's crisis was becoming Earth's opportunity. The moment had come for humanity's final strike. Earth's black ships filled the skies above Centauri Prime, the Council's home world. The same ships that the Council had once mocked as primitive now cast shadows over their greatest city. Commander Sarah Chen stood on her flagship's bridge. "All forces in position?" she asked. "Yes, Commander. Earth forces are ready. Friendly alien allies are standing by. Dr. O'Connor's systems are in full control of their defenses." Sarah touched the photo of her family one last time. "Begin the final push." In his bunker deep beneath the Council towers, High Counselor Zax Thor watched his screens in terror. Every defense system was failing. His mighty weapons were useless. Even his personal guards were revealed to be human agents in disguise. "How?" he whispered. "How did we lose everything?" The answer came from Ambassador Corell, who stepped out of the shadows. "You lost because you never understood humans. You thought they were simple, violent, primitive. You never saw their true strength." Above the planet, Dr. O'Connor's network shut down the last of the Council's weapons. The old scientist's face appeared on every screen in Council space. "Your bioweapons are neutralized. Your shields are down. Your fleets are disabled. Surrender, and this ends peacefully." But Zax Thor wasn't finished. He pressed a hidden button, revealing one last secret. "If we can't rule the galaxy, no one will." Deep beneath the planet's surface, a massive doomsday device activated. It was ancient technology, built by a long-dead race, powerful enough to destroy the entire system. Sarah's sensors detected it immediately. "Dr. O'Connor, can you stop it?" "Not remotely," the scientist replied. "Someone has to go in there. The controls are manual." Without hesitation, Sarah gave command of the fleet to her second-in-command. "I'm going in. This ends today." Her personal ship, smaller and faster than the others, dove through the chaos of the falling city. Council towers crumbled as their power failed. Crowds ran through the streets as years of oppression finally ended. Inside the bunker, Zax Thor watched the countdown with mad eyes. 10 minutes until everything ends. But then his bunker door exploded inward. Commander Sarah Chen stepped through the smoke, her dark eyes fixed on the alien who had caused so much suffering. "Surrender," she said quietly. "It's over." "Never." Zax Thor reached for a weapon, but Sarah was faster. Her stun blast hit him before he could fire. The mighty High Counselor fell, unconscious but alive. Ambassador Corell rushed to the doomsday device's controls. "We have 5 minutes." Sarah joined him at the ancient machine. Its symbols were complex, its technology beyond even Dr. O'Connor's understanding. But among the markings, she recognized something. The same pattern she had seen on her family's transport ship before the Council destroyed it. "They didn't just kill my family," she realized. "They used the same weapon that could have destroyed everything." Working together, Sarah and Corell decoded the shutdown sequence. With seconds to spare, the doomsday device powered down. Above them, the city was transforming. As Council power failed, hidden human technology activated. Buildings repaired themselves. Order returned to the streets. Earth's ships landed, bringing not destruction but aid and protection. Dr. O'Connor's voice echoed across the planet. "The Council's reign is over. Earth now stands ready to help build a better galaxy. One based on cooperation, not control. On truth, not lies." In the bunker, Sarah looked at the unconscious Zax Thor. "Take him to Earth," she ordered. "Let him see what he could have learned from us, if he hadn't chosen fear and hatred." Ambassador Corell watched as human medical teams helped injured aliens. "You could have destroyed us all," he said. "Instead, you chose to save us." Sarah nodded. That's the difference they never understood. Real strength isn't about destruction. It's about knowing when to show mercy. The sun was setting on Centauri Prime, last capital of the Galactic Council, but it was also rising on a new era, one where humanity would help lead the galaxy toward a better future. The final push was complete. Earth had won not just through power, but through wisdom. 1 year after the Council's fall, the galaxy was changing. The Great Hall, where the old Council once ruled, now hosted representatives from every world. including Earth. New voices were being heard. New ideas were growing. Commander Sarah Chen, now Earth's chief representative, stood at the podium. The room was filled with beings from 1,000 worlds. Some had once been council masters, others their slaves. Now they sat as equals. The old order ended because it was built on fear, she said. The new one will be built on understanding. In a special chamber nearby, Dr. O'Connor was teaching alien scientists about human technology. His silver cube network now helped worlds communicate and grow together, instead of controlling them. Your people have surprised us all, an alien scientist admitted. We thought humans were simple. Now you're teaching us things we never imagined. The old scientist smiled. That's because you tried to cage our creativity. When you set it free, anything is possible. On Earth, things had changed too. The quarantine barrier was gone. Ships from all worlds now visited freely. In the ruins of her family's home, Sarah had built a new Galactic Peace Center. Ambassador Corell, now head of interstellar relations, walked with her through the building. "Have you visited Zaxthor?" he asked. Sarah nodded. The former High Counselor lived under house arrest in a comfortable Earth facility. He spent his days learning about human history. Yesterday, he asked me why we didn't destroy the Council when we had the chance. "And what did you tell him?" "That revenge wasn't our real goal. Change was." Across the galaxy, former Council worlds were transforming. Human technology helped clean their environments. Earth's education systems taught their children. Trade made everyone richer. Dr. O'Connor's greatest invention yet was almost ready. In his new laboratory, built where his old hidden one used to be, he showed Sarah his latest project. "It's a gateway," he explained. "Using what we learned from the Council's technology, we can now explore other galaxies. But this time, we'll go as friends, not conquerors." The changes weren't always easy. Some former Council members tried to fight back, but their own people stopped them, having seen a better way. In the new Galactic Assembly, Sarah addressed another crisis. A group of worlds wants to build their own empire. They think they can copy the Council's old methods. "What did you tell them?" Corell asked. "I showed them the records of Earth's victory, how patience beat power, how wisdom beat weapons." They changed their minds. On a distant world, a young alien child asked her human teacher a question. Why did Earth wait so long to show its strength? The teacher smiled. Because real strength isn't about showing power. It's about knowing when to use it, and how to use it wisely. In his comfortable prison, Zaxthor finally understood. "We thought we were teaching humanity a lesson," he told his guards. "Instead, they taught us one." The galaxy was learning that lesson too. The new order wasn't perfect, but it was better. Worlds that once feared each other now worked together. Species that once fought now shared knowledge. Sarah stood at her window on Earth, watching ships from 100 worlds pass peacefully overhead. Her assistant brought her a report. The last of the old Council's secret weapons had been found and destroyed. "Should we announce it?" the assistant asked. "No," Sarah replied. "Let the past stay in the past. We're building something new now." Dr. O'Connor's voice came through her communicator. "The gateway is ready for its first test. Want to make history again?" She smiled. "History is what we're always making. The question is, what kind?" The answer was all around them. In schools where different species learned together. In hospitals where they healed each other. In laboratories where they solved problems together. Earth's revenge had become something greater, a revolution of understanding. The humans who had been called primitive had shown the galaxy a better path. The new order wasn't built on fear like the old Council. It was built on humanity's greatest strengths: creativity, wisdom, and the power to change. The story wasn't over. It was just beginning again, better than before.